The city of Camden, tonight in a state of shock. How could a mother do this?
Crime tape stretches around a New Jersey home that police say was the scene of a grisly.
What police found here on this tree-lined Camden, New Jersey street, in this home, no horror movie maker could conjure.
This week's episode has been brought to you by Endel, an environment-based app that takes everything we know about sound and combines it with cutting-edge technology. If you're anything like me, you might find yourself suffering from stress or anxiety, having trouble sleeping, or having trouble finding mental clarity in order to be creative or productive. This is where Endel comes in. Endel's real-time, personalized soundscapes are designed with you in mind and help you relax, focus, and get a good night's sleep. Endel is informed by science, created with science, and backed by science. Endel has partnered with various artists to create soundscapes, my favorite being AI Lullaby by Grimes, specifically engineered to help you get to sleep. Ready to try Endel for yourself? The first 100 people to download Endel via the link in the description get a free week of audio experiences. Click the link down below to get started. Thanks, and back to the episode.
On the evening of Tuesday, August 21st, 2012, 33-year-old Chevonne Thomas and her boyfriend sat upon the steps of their row house located at 1415 Keynes Avenue in Camden, New Jersey. According to neighbor Melanie Troutman, this was a familiar sight.
It was a warm evening in Camden, with temperatures reaching a high of 81 degrees. It's not uncommon to see folks cooling themselves off on porches in the city. And this was the scene on the street lined with brick homes located in the city's Parkside neighborhood. But Melanie Troutman did notice something that was out of the ordinary. Her neighbor, Chevonne, appeared to be topless and was visibly upset. There are conflicting reports, with neighbor Tayari Horsey, who lives a few doors down, insisting that the 33-year-old mother was clothed. However, our story today is not about a woman bearing her chest on her porch. It's about what happened 2 hours later.
But first, I think it's important to give a little backstory here. Chevonne Thomas had a troubled past and recently had been reunified with her 2-year-old son Zari on April 3rd, 2012. The little boy had been in the custody of family members after a November 2010 incident where his mother, Chevonne, left him unattended in a car while she smoked fry sticks. Fry sticks are also known as wet lovelies, among many other things, which are the street names for cannabis laced with the hallucinogenic drug PCP, which is a word that YouTube heavily polices the use of. So for the remainder of this episode, I'm going to refer it to either phencyclidine or what I knew it as growing up, angel dust. After getting high off this, she passed out in a nearby park. For those unfamiliar, angel dust was initially produced in 1956 and was marketed as an anesthetic. However, extreme physical and psychological side effects led to the drug being outlawed 9 years later in 1965, with use in animals finally banned in 1978. Nowadays, illegal production of angel dust is often done in improper conditions, not in a lab environment like it was initially intended for. Because of this, the end product tends to be something far more toxic to the user. And furthermore, the person can easily be unaware of the actual dose they're taking. The effects of intoxication vary from person to person, especially by dosage. Physically, in low to mid doses, it can provide feelings of numbness, slurred speech, and a loss of balance in moderate doses. It should be noted that high doses can cause convulsions. In media, angel dust users are depicted as violent, raging maniacs. While this isn't a typical reaction, it's definitely not impossible.
However, what isn't up for debate is the unpredictability of psychological effects that one can experience. Various psychoses and hallucinations have been reported in use, and angel dust may induce feelings of invulnerability and strength.
A Japanese study concluded in August 2019 that, quote, repeated phencyclidine administration induces several schizophrenia-like psychobehavioral abnormalities, end quote. Basically comparing the results of a chronic user of angel dust to a schizophrenic episode. Keep this in mind as we go further in this story.
Chevonne was charged with endangering the life of her son with regards to the 2010 car incident, but the case was later dropped due to a problem with a witness. However, during this time, she sought court-ordered treatment for substance use and mental health disorders and was ultimately prescribed the drug Prozac, an SSRI used to typically treat depression, among other ailments. After just 9 months, state workers with DCF deemed Chevonne a fit mother, and Zari was returned to her care.
However, only a month after regaining custody of her son, Chevonne flagged hot for angel dust in a court-ordered test. Again, Zari was removed from his mother's care and placed back with the relative. But once more, Zari stayed with this relative for 9 months before ultimately being returned to Chevonne's care.
This brings us back to the balmy evening in Camden, just 4 months after Zari was returned to his mother's care. 911 dispatchers received a disturbing call from the troubled 33-year-old, one they would not soon forget.
911, where's your emergency?
Yes, somebody just stabbed my baby. Please get here.
They just did what?
Stabbed my baby.
Do they know who it was, ma'am?
Yes, it's my boyfriend, my current boyfriend.
What's your address?
1415 Kane. You know what?
Does he need an ambulance, ma'am?
You know what? I did it. I'm lying. I'm lying. I did it.
What's your name?
Chevonne Thomas. Chevonne.
What's your phone number, Chevonne?
You know what?
Hello? All right, you said your baby was stabbed. This is your son?
Yes.
How old is he?
Yes. Yes.
Chevonne,
Yes.
how old is he?
My son is 2. He is 2.
I said he was the one that was stabbed?
Yes.
He was stabbed with what?
A knife.
Is he bleeding? Where is he bleeding? Is he bleeding from anywhere?
No. I mean, he is, but not much. No.
Oh, we're going to send officers out there, okay?
Yep.
You're at 1415 Kane Avenue, right?
Yep.
All right, we'll send somebody up there.
Yep. You better wait. You know what? I don't even want to play this. I did it. Okay. I did it.
Stay on the phone, okay?
I keep trying to make it. I'm about to. No, I got to
Chevonne.
find some money. I got to.
Chevonne.
I got to try to find some money. I got to. I don't care. I have to try to find it. Do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. Do it. Do what you gotta do.
Hello, ma'am?
Nope. Nope.
Hello?
Nope. Nope.
Hello?
Nope. I knew it.
Chevonne,
What?
what's the problem?
I knew it.
You knew what?
I knew it.
Knew what?
I knew it.
What did you know,
I
Chevonne?
know.
You need the
I
police?
know.
How old are you, Chevonne?
I don't need nothing. I'm 33.
You're 33?
33 years old.
What, did you take medicine?
Swear. I used to.
What kind did you take?
Prozac.
Prozac. Oh, okay. You don't take it anymore?
Nope.
Okay. What's your name?
Wait. I do.
Did you take it today?
I still take it. I still take it. No.
After hanging up on police dispatchers and realizing the gravity of what she had just done, 33-year-old Chevonne Thomas fatally stabbed herself in the neck with a kitchen knife, putting a grisly end to her troubled life. Further investigations revealed that Chevonne was yet again high on angel dust at the time of the incident. Some side effects of taking angel dust are dangerous hallucinations, aggressive behavior, lack of rational judgment, feeling of no pain, and being willing to harm oneself and others.
When the police arrived at Thomas's house, they found Zari's headless body on the floor. His head was later discovered in the freezer of the home. Additionally, medical examiners found a stab wound to the chest and marks on the little boy's arms. Zari's violent end was in stark contrast to what neighbors reported seeing earlier that day. Just hours earlier, Chevonne was outside, blowing bubbles with her son. Chevonne had just moved to the neighborhood from elsewhere in the city and was already well liked. No one saw any evidence of problems, and according to neighbor Tayari Horsey, quote, "Because had we known something was up, I'm quite sure all of the neighbors on the block would have talked to her. But, you know, people hold stuff in. You don't know what's going on," end quote. Her landlord described the mother as good-natured and stated, quote, "She was a really nice woman for the short amount of time that she lived there. She was never late with her rent, and just a short time ago my wife was there and my kid played with them, end quote. According to a teen who lived a few doors down, quote, she used to sit on the step with her son. She really didn't speak, she just kept to herself. We'd see her out there smoking cigarettes, but we didn't really know her, end quote.
However, former neighbor Thelma Moore said Chevonne exhibited mental health issues during the several years that she had known her. Moore described her as being in a world all to herself and said Chevonne had been seeing a behavioral health therapist. According to the former neighbor, quote, she just walked around and talked and cursed to herself, end quote. It is unknown if Chevonne smoked angel dust in the presence of any of her neighbors. Angel dust, if smoked, is noted to smell like permanent marker, but this can change depending on what it's mixed with, so we cannot say for certain if there was any drug-related red flags that were easily observable to her neighbors.
Counseling services were offered at the nearby Bethel Deliverance Church on Keynes Avenue with clergy, the mayor's staff, and city police on hand to help. According to Camden Mayor Dana L. Redd, and this is a direct quote, "My deepest sympathy goes out to the young child, family members, and friends. As the investigation into the circumstances that led to this tragic incident moves forward, we need to remember that all life matters. In the city of Camden, we are all family, and we will be here to help through the healing process." End quote.
According to Chevonne's parents, Wendell and Jerlaine Birch, their daughter had been crying out for help and she did not get the care that she needed. They also questioned DCF's decisions with regards to their grandson Zari, which included discontinuing daycare for the toddler, leaving the little boy with his mother all day long.
Additionally, DCF workers stopped visiting Chevonne, who had a history of drug addiction and had been diagnosed with serious mental illness. DCF Commissioner Allison Blake claims that protection workers could not have prevented Zari's death, nor could they have known that Chevonne was in distress. However, the grandparents both wondered if the state could have done more to protect both mother and son. Let us know down below if you feel DCF was negligent, and if they truly could have prevented this tragic event.
Wendell and Jerlaine recounted being the ones who were always there for Zari. When he was born premature with numerous medical needs, the grandparents stayed with the little boy in the hospital. They watched him grow, idolizing Buzz Lightyear and Toy Story, reclining in his lazy boy for kids with his bag of cereal and his cup of juice. After Chevonne regained custody, the grandparents still cared for the boy while she attended night counseling, and they often had dinner together. Jerlaine described her daughter as a good mom who took care of her son, with Wendell adding that she was not the monster that the media was portraying her to be, and added that she loved Zari.
The last time Jerlaine saw her daughter was the Monday before the incident occurred. All seemed well enough. But the following day, Chevonne called her mother, quickly rattling off a list of things she needed to do, repeating phrases and saying God had spoken to her. Jerlaine became concerned her daughter may have suffered a relapse. And according to Louis E. Baxter, the medical director of the Division of Addiction Services for the New Jersey Department of Health and Senior Services, Chevonne would have indeed had an increased risk of psychosis with relapse. Many of you remember Dr. Nathan, a friend of the show who's a clinical pharmacist that treats hospitalized patients daily. We spoke briefly about how Prozac and angel dust can interact with each other. To keep it short, Dr. Nathan told me angel dust modulates most neurotransmitters, including serotonin. Prozac is an SSRI, which stands for Selective Serotonin Reuptake Inhibitor. Taking too high of a dose of an SSRI alone can cause serotonin syndrome. Now, serotonin syndrome, to put it simply, is an overdose of serotonin. This can cause agitation, insomnia, and confusion. But if the reaction is severe, it can cause a high fever, seizures, and even death. Was it irresponsible for doctors to prescribe Prozac to Chevonne, who was a known angel dust addict with a history of relapsing? Let me know in the comments down below. However, what we know about how SSRIs and angel dust can potentially interact gives us clues to how this could have played a factor in her final days. In fact, while uncommon, there are documented cases of SSRIs, such as Prozac, causing psychosis in some patients. We have several links to medical journals in the show notes if you want to know more in-depth information about the pharmacology. Angel dust usage rates have thankfully been declining over the years, but regardless, I'd like to make a plea to people who might consider using it. Please reconsider, not just for your sake, but for your loved ones, especially if you have children in your care. Even if you consider the story of Chevonne Thomas to be an extreme example, please note that even one use of angel dust can have unpredictable results, especially when it's hard to estimate true dosages. I've heard countless experiences from people who've used angel dust, some who I know personally. One user on YouTube who I watched said what happened to him is that he went into a dreamlike state. And after he woke up from it, he had done multiple bizarre and violent things that were completely uncharacteristic of him to do, and that he could barely remember them. He had to find out from others afterwards. If you become that out of control, what could you end up doing to your kids? If you are currently struggling with addiction and your kids are at risk, please seek help. Zari didn't have to lose his life. And if you're a friend, family member, or neighbor, and you see red flags, especially as it relates to the safety of a minor, say something. We say this all the time, again and again. If you see something, say something. Artist Brian Lewis Saunders, who experiments with many different drugs with art, was once quoted as saying, "There ain't no angels on angel dust." And in the case of Chevonne Thomas, he was right.